Well, here he is, Premier. Congratulations on the win. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, David. Good to be with you.
Did you get any sleep last night?
Not very much.
Right. Look, there was a moment there we just saw it where you took to the stage, securing this third victory, and you had the fists pumped. It looked like a moment of vindication after a very tough few years for the state and no doubt for you and your family as well. Is that what it was?
David, my politics has never been about the win. It's always about the work. You've got to win to do that. But I grew up being taught every day that with opportunity comes a profound obligation to do your best, to work hard, to do what matters. And that's exactly what I've delivered over these last 8 years, and I'm humbled and so grateful, so grateful that Victorians have re-elected a majority Labor government.
But give us a bit of a sense of that personal feeling, because we could see it in your face.
Well, this has been, our politics may well be divided, but our community is absolutely united. We got vaccinated, we looked out for each other, those acts of kindness and compassion. It makes you so proud to lead the best state in our nation, and a state that has a faith in science, a state that is prepared to make big sacrifices to save tens of thousands of lives. It's not about being vindicated, it's about our positive plan being endorsed and now getting the opportunity and having that profound obligation to get things done.
There were, however, some big swings against Labor, particularly in those outer suburban seats. Your primary vote across Melbourne's northwest suburbs fell by around 9%. These are suburbs that did it particularly tough during the COVID lockdowns.
Yes.
They couldn't work from home, many of them. What do you put those swings down to?
Well, I think the point you make in relation to not being able to work from home and things of that nature, that's why being in work is so important. And of course, our political opponents were going to cancel projects, and what happens when you cancel projects? You're cancelling jobs. So we'll work with all those communities and we'll work really hard to make sure that we deliver. And not just those communities. I'm fully aware that whilst we've been resoundingly re-elected, there are many Victorians who didn't vote for us, and we'll govern for them too. That's an important part of my job.
Is this part of a longer-term, broader shift in those outer suburbs away from Labor, not just at the state level, but federally as well?
Well, I live in the suburbs, and this is the whole thing, David. Sometimes things that are big on Spring Street, and for your national audience, that's where our parliament is, and they've got nothing to do with what's on Main Street. I get my advice from my neighbours, from my local community, and I'll continue to work hard, and there's some work to do there, that sense of healing, that sense of unity. And the best way to do that, you talk about integrity, lots of talk about integrity in this election. Integrity in politics is doing what you said you'd do, and that's exactly what I will.
Well, you also said last night, you quoted Paul Keating, who told you that leadership isn't about doing what's popular, it's about doing what's right. Look, one issue here, Australia is facing an energy price crisis at the moment. It may not be popular, particularly in some of those seats you're battling with the Greens in the inner areas of Melbourne, but are you prepared to shift your position at all on the issue of gas to deal with this energy crisis?
Well, first thing, Paul Keating's a very good friend of mine, and I'm honoured to be able to say that. Secondly, when it comes to energy, the cheapest form of new energy is renewable energy. That is a fact. It's not a fossil fuel future that we need. On gas, I'm very encouraged. My discussions with Prime Minister Albanese have been very positive. We need a gas reserve, our gas for our businesses and our households. That's what's really, really important. What we don't need, export that to the world and get the best price you can. But our view on gas...
You're talking about a national gas reserve.
That's exactly right. I'd do a state one if I could.
OK,
but constitutionally, we simply can't.
OK, so you've talked to the Prime Minister about a national gas reserve.
A national gas reserve or some other mechanism to control prices. These companies are making Australians pay European prices. Now, yes, there's a terrible war going on in Europe. We're not in Europe. We're a long way from Europe. Our gas ought to be for our households and our businesses first. And what we don't need, sell it, by all means.
And is the PM going to do that?
Well, that'll be a matter for the PM. Right. But I'll tell you what, David, when it comes to energy policy, we've got a federal government and a Prime Minister who's got an agenda. We've had 9 wasted years, and things are so much more challenging today because we've had a sort of revolving door of energy ministers and no coherent energy policy. Albo is turning that around, and that's good for households, good for jobs, and really good for the planet too.
Just finally, I mean, this was a toxic campaign at times. There's been a lot of negativity, a lot of very ugly and even threatening things have been said. Did you ever have any second thoughts about going around for another 4 years?
No, I'm all about making sure that we get things done. And I've had great opportunity in my life. And as I said before, I was brought up to know at a really elemental level that if you've had opportunity, then you are obliged. I'll just say this, David, our politics may well be divided, but our Victorian community has been absolutely united, getting vaccinated, sticking together, acts of kindness, acts of compassion. And I'm so grateful and proud that Victorians have re-elected a majority Labor government, but will govern for everyone, regardless of how they voted. Our positive plan benefits all Victorians, and so will the work of our government.
And you will serve a full 4-year term?
Yes, I will. It's the greatest honour of my life.
You won't be retiring early?
It's the greatest honour of my life, and I'm here to get things done. It's what I've always done, and I'm so thrilled to be able to do it for another 4 years.
Daniel Andrews, congratulations once again. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having us on.